Hello there, yarn lovers. It's Gary, and I'm coming to you from my happy place, the Yarn Corner here on the west coast of Canada. How you all doing? I hope you're well and staying safe on this Sunday evening. It is November the 30th, 2025. Who can believe it's the last day of November tomorrow? For those of us who have podcasts, some of us will be doing Vlogmas, which is every day in December. There's a bit of a vlog style video recording. I have an Advent, which I'm going to be opening up. Still not sure whether I'm going to be batching a few of the daily openings together or if I will try and do my YouTube shorts daily. I have it all set up over there, so I'm really excited to get going on that. I just don't know what kind of format I'm going to do it in. If you're happening across this channel for the very first time, hi. I've set this channel up to talk about all of my yarny adventures in knitting, crochet, as well as my acquisitions, where I purchase my yarn from, and tools of my craft. So if that's of interest, then please stick around. And for those who are returning, I want to say welcome back. Thank you for commenting in the last few videos that I dropped. I have been very spoiled by close friends of the channel who have sent me some really amazing and generous gifts. So it was my way of showcasing some yarn that I know a few of us in the audience may never have had the chance to see, or in my case, or feel or use. So I am just blessed with having so many generous people in my life. And this yarning community it just blows my mind how generous and encouraging and inspiring each and every one of you are. So thank you again. All right, so what have I got for you in this video? I have some finished works, some works in progress, new, and also updates on where I'm at with certain other projects that you've seen in the past. And I'm going to do a bit of a community update, what's been going on here in my life at the end, but I'll put it towards the tail end of the video so that all the yarny goodness will be up front. I have some fun videos that I've been watching and movies, so that's where I generally put all those community event things that are going on here in the household. Yeah, so let's start with my first finished object, and I think you might have seen this. Perhaps maybe 30 rows in, and we are now kind of looking at more in the realm of, I think at the end of it all there might be around close to 200 rows. So it's a knitted shawl. Here it is. It's called, isn't that wonderful, it's called the Paris Toujours, and I asked Chad what that meant in French, and it's Paris Always. I thought that was an interesting name. So it is a pattern by Isabell Kreamer. Any patterns, YouTubers that I may mention, tutorials and links that I come across, whether it's books or other things like that, publications, I'll leave links down below in the description box. So if you're looking for more information, go down there and take a look. So yeah, this is a wonderful knit, and I would say this will be a adventurous beginner. It looks very complicated, but what you need to learn in this one is the garter stitch, but also knit two together and yarn over to accomplish all of what you're seeing here. It starts off in the corner here, and it grows from one side. It actually, just trying to see, you work it like this, and it's on your needles all the way going, growing on one side. But when you actually look at it and you sort of see how you're going to wear it, it goes on the longer side. That's how you hold it up. So the garter and the eyelets go on the diagonal, which is really nice. I like that style of illusion to make it look like it's actually a complicated pattern. But if you want to give it a go and you have just started knitting and garter, you want to sort of explore something new, this would be, I guess, a notch up from learning something new than garter stitch. Yeah, I really love the texture as well. There's this big block here of garter as well towards the end. Uh, it's lovely and drapey. This pattern was a gift. I will leave all gifters of any yarn or patterns that you'll be seeing throughout this video down below as a form of thank you for the patterns and who sent them to me. So I want to say thank you again for the gift of this pattern. So, okay, I do have, because it's hard for me to show you here in this clip, I do have a video of me showcasing it, which sort of shows it off a little bit more, and I will put it in here so you can take a look. There might be some photos that I can add in as well, the journey along the way of making it, and then I'll come back to talk about some alterations, my yarn, and also needle size that I used. I'll see you back soon. The changes that I made on the project was I used 3 thin eyelet rows and then 2 larger ones, and that was my repeat. In the pattern it calls for 2 larger eyelet rows or blocks and then 2 narrower blocks of eyelets. So I kind of just change it up because I do like my threes, my things made in threes. So I thought that was a nice balance and difference from the 2 and then 2 style of pattern thicknesses. So yeah, I also have been housing that project as I was working it in this beautiful bag here, and this was a gift that a viewer of the channel sent me, purchasing it from a YouTuber here that makes bags, and that is Billy. Billy has a YouTube channel called The Crafty Floridian. Hi, Billy. So I absolutely love the bag. It's got flamingo and looks like heron. I think that's what they call them, heron birds. So larger birds of the wetlands. So absolutely loved it. The yarn that I used, I held 2 yarns together, excuse the crinkle, and one of them was this mohair of unknown quantities of fiber, but it does have mohair in it called Color, and that was from Temu. That's what I have left of 2 donuts. And I believe I had half one. So really I needed 2 of these donuts for the whole project. And I used a Ice Yarns, which was a brand that they have discontinued. No, it's a collection that they have discontinued, and it was called the Extra Fine Merino Hand Dyed, and that was a fingering base, fingering weight yarn. I have a little bit left over, and it's in this brown color. Just show you what there. That's it. So kind of a taupey, cooler, I don't know what you would call that, but it's definitely a cooler brown. And I put it together with this warm brown from Temu, which is the color. Yeah. So if you're looking, if perhaps maybe Ice Yarns has restocked the merino superwash, then this is what the number is on the bag. It's just there, 77179. And if you need the label, Ice Yarns Hand Dyed Merino Extra Fine is the name. I used my Chagu stainless steel interchangeables, and the thickness was 4.5 millimeters. The cord that I chose to go with in the end was a 50-inch cord. Next object that I made, it is an object, a project. It is a crocheted finished work, and I just finished this today. I've been working on this over the weekend because I wanted to cut loose a little bit from my other larger projects that are in process. And I thought I just want to have some fun and do something really small and kind of like, I don't know, just to get my mind off counting, or, well, that's not true because I had to count with this one. This was a gift that was given to me. It was a crochet kit for an amigurumi, and it claims here it's for beginners. So the company that brought this one out, no affiliation at all, it's called Fair Cozy, and I like the experience of this box. I know that Christmas is coming up, and I'm seeing a lot of crafts like this in Indigo, which is a bookstore here in Canada, but I have a sense that all these little games and crafting kits are kind of a big marketing right now for Christmas presents. So it is a great kit. It comes with all the yarn, the hook. You can almost say that it's all self-contained. It has the stuffing, stitch markers, a needle for doing all of your embroidery stuff, and also sewing in all the items that you make, like the body parts. It comes with a kit as well as directions online, so you can zap a QR code and go online to watch the video if you're needing some extra help. I didn't do that, but I read through the instructions. I thought it was easily readable, and as it says it's for beginners, I would say it's probably an adventurous beginner. And the hook size that is used is a 2.5 millimeter, which is probably one of the smallest hooks that I've ever used. And the yarn, it doesn't tell you what the base of it is. I think it's an acrylic, but it's a really lovely yarn. Has that spring. So when you're crocheting with such a fine hook, I was expecting it to split and become all kind of like messy, because this hook here didn't have much of a indentation there to grab at the thicker yarn here that I'm seeing. It's probably considered a sport weight, maybe even a light 3, so 2 or 3. And with such a small hook, I thought there's no way it's not going to split. But I was surprised that it was quite a spongy hook. So if you had spongy yarn. So if you had good tension, you could actually stretch it, and it became very flattened. And this hook was fine. It did not pierce it, and it was a really nice experience to use their yarn that they had put for the crochet kit. I have enough there to do another project as well. It claims to give you 2 little dragons. So here's my little dragon 1. All done. Isn't that cute? So lots of different colored, I don't know what they call them, scales, I think, in the pattern, that these bumpy bits were called scales. And yeah, I haven't done too well on the expression. I think one of the eyes is drifting off to the side of the face here, this one. But I had fun doing it, and it did serve the purpose of just getting my mind off other projects that I have that are lingering or a little bit more laborsome. So yeah, what do you think? I don't think I will claim to be a very good amigurumi maker, but it's a good start. So, and it does stand up, which is nice. Yeah. So that was my little project that I completed this weekend. So those are my finished objects. Now I'm going to move into what I've been working on over the couple of weeks that I have had in between my last podcast showcasing works. And this is a new one too that I haven't shown yet on the podcast. This was a pattern that I won from a YouTuber here on the streets, and it was for estimating how many kilometers these Olympi hens had traveled to get to a destination in the UK. And the YouTube channel is called The Wool Patch, and the host, Stuart, had asked people to guess the number of, I think it was kilometers, traveled by all of these Olympi hens. And it was all for a window display and fundraiser that Stuart was doing in his shop. So if you recall, back in 2024, there was the Olympics. So it all happened centered around the Olympics. And lo and behold, I got closest for the international competitors who were guessing the number of kilometers. And I was granted free, well, it was a paid for pattern that Stuart gifted me. So I got myself a booklet of the guy with the hook. He is a pattern designer in crochet, and this particular pattern from that booklet the e-booklet that I purchased, or Stuart purchased for me, was it's called the Rainbow Subway Blanket, and there's a little bit there of what it looks like. I didn't make a blanket. I wanted to use up some of this yarn that I got from deep diving in my stash from way back when. It's discontinued yarn, and I had a few balls of it. So I was like, it's not going to be enough to make a blanket, but I could make a cushion cover. So I did the calculations on what was the repeat in the pattern, and I just did it so many times that it would measure the right measurement for a cushion, a square cushion. So I have done my first panel. Make sure that I am showing it the way that I started. I think it's this way. Here we go. So there it is there. It's made out of cotton acrylic, and it uses two types of yarn. Maybe if I hold it sideways, you can see a bit more of that shadowing that really details the texture. And this way, I think it really does well this way, showing the texture off. So yeah, tell you a little bit about what I'm using. Actually, there's 3 yarns. I did tell a fib there. So the first one that I'm using is called Cotton Candy Blend. No, that's not right. I thought it was Cotton. Hang on. Maybe it is Cotton Candy Blend. No, here it is. So the first one that I'm using is this white color, or a very neutral color, and it's Caron Cotton Ripple Cake, and that's from Yarnspirations. This is no longer in circulation, I believe, like no longer being manufactured, and the color is called French Vanilla. It's a 3-weight, and they're suggesting here to use a 4mm crochet hook. I don't know what size. I have it in here. I think I went to a 4.5 maybe. Yeah, I went to a 4.5mm. So I used a little bit of a bigger hook. Then I'm using for my color the 2 balls that I have that are the only 2 in the stash. So I'm almost finished one of my first balls. It's called Loops and Threads Cotton Color, and this is in the colorway called Snapdragon. So that's the label there, and this is part of the ball that's left over. And this is the color that you see kind of being used in the post treatment, like front post treatment going through the blanket surface, so it sort of lifts it up. And I have one more here in the Snapdragon to go through, and I think I'm going to have a little bit left over, which might go into a amigurumi. Who knows, now that I'm looking at doing some more amigurumis. It's just a lot of fun, I find. So the third yarn that I've got is just the outside border that I am bordering that whole Subway blanket pattern in, and it's this one here, like a buttery yellow color, and it's called Lemon Drop, the colorway, and it's in the Cotton Candy blend from Lime brand. This is also a 3-weight yarn. I am up to my second panel for the other side, and I'm making really good progress on it. Here is where I am right now on that one. So yeah, I'm really having fun with it. Now, later down the way, I'm thinking I will do a blanket with one of the patterns that I got in that ebook from the guy with the hook. And there are just so many wonderful mosaic style crochet treatments that was in that, and there are a couple of modular pieces. So I think I am going to get a lot of use out of that book. Okay, so I have my project and I'm really excited about this one. This is a slow growing one. It has multiple stitches. I think I'm up to almost 400 stitches on the needle right now. It's a knitted pattern, and it's all to do with a make-along that I'm hosting currently. At the recording of this video, the make-along will go up until December the 15th, 2025. So there's roughly around 2 weeks when you are going to be seeing this video dropped. And there's still some time to craft something together to enter if you wish. There will be a small prize at the end. I will be drawing someone for a little gift, and that will be shortly after the make along is finished, and I'll do a bit of a slideshow as well and show all the wonderful work. Now, some people have already sent me in work, and I'm always blown away with the ways people interpret the theme of this make along. So it's all to do with creating a mood board, and then you create a make from that mood board. And seasonally, I give a different theme each time to keep it broad so that you can build your boards with all the intentions that you wish. So there's only guidelines that are very loose. So this mood board for this season is all to do with alchemy. So we're becoming alchemists, and we can choose the ancient elements like water, air, fire, or earth to build our boards. You don't need to do all of those, but you can choose 1, 2, maybe you want to tackle all 4 of them, which someone has done and sent in their entry, and it's absolutely wonderful. Along with other people who have sent their entries in. It's always blows my mind on the way that people interpret and investigate using their mood boards and coming up with the most brilliant ideas. Or you can use the periodic table, which has elements known to us here on Earth. You can create compounds of your own. Maybe you want to mix a few of them together. So in the modern periodic table, we have elements like maybe sulfur, which is yellow and kind of warm and curry colored. And then we have silver, which is also an element on the periodic table, could be shiny and iridescent. There's also cobalt, which is blue, very, very bright blue. So we're becoming alchemists just for this season, and putting all the inspiration that we find those elements to be in existence. Like you might find that you see them in natural states where miners might find them. You've used your internet to discover where those pictures might be, or you might get inspired by a jewelry maker that does all these wonderful, intricate crowns or royal jewels, and they use silver. So either or, you can go very raw or use inspiration from other areas in time that artists have used that particular element. So in my case, hopefully Editing Gary can put up my mood board. It's all to do with water. I went the ancient route, and I particularly looked at the ocean. So I was getting all my colors and my inspiration from sea life in there, whether they were plant or animal life, waves, how they form and they sort of crest and create all this bubbly motion on top, and you know, the shorelines and how it sort of makes things flow and ebb. I really enjoyed making the mood board. So I chose a pattern that I thought represented the ocean to me, using all the colors from the mood board. So I'll show you the make as it stands. I did show you this probably on row, I'm going to say 30, and now I'm kind of on row maybe 50-ish. So I put another 20 rows on this. Yeah. So as you can tell, maybe the lighting's not giving it great definition, but there is ridging in there. So I'm getting the idea of ripples, and I've chosen colors from the ocean and waves cresting. And later down the way here, you see a bit of green. I'm thinking more of kelp in the, like a sea, like a underwater sea kind of garden. And we have these, what do they call them? Feather and fan, I think they're called. Eyelets making the piece grow. And I'm now at the last stage. You could call it an exaggerated or large border, and I think I might even go a little bit further and add a few more rows if I don't run into any difficulties with the shaping or how it lays flat. So yeah, I will show you the pattern that I chose that reminded me of the waves. It's called the Slumber Shawl, and as you can tell, I am somewhere around here, just starting these large kind of undulating waves for the border. I held 2 fingering weight yarns together just to get the right thickness, because they did ask for a DK or worsted weight, and I wanted to mix and match my colors so that I could create more of a fade and get more technique with the fade that happens throughout the project. So the first 2 are this one here where I started off on, and this yarn, the variegated that you see, uses a lot of the raw material, like there's raw yarn there, and then it has this powerful almost like a aqua ocean color, and that comes from the hand dyer. I'm not sure whether you can read that. It's in a different language. It comes from Europe. I'm not sure what country. And somebody did translate this, and it translated to Sleeping Beauty. So I wanted to say thank you for that. And this second one here was a gifted yarn that is from Expression Fiber Arts, but I didn't have the ball band for it. It was already pre-wound, and I have a little bit of it left over. So I used those 2 together. The second pair I used were a very pale kind of, I'm going to say, gray-blue wash, and they both had speckles in them. This one here had more of the green, vibrant green speckle in it, and it is from the dyer called Midnight Cravings Yarn Company, and the colorway is called High Five. And this one here was Tangle Poets, and the colorway of this one comes from the song title called Wondering Why, and that is a song by the Red Clay Strays. So I'll show you what they both look like. So if I do it that way, that's the way that they were held. And this one here is the Tangle Poets, and the lighter one here is from the Midnight's Cravings. So yeah, I have plenty of these left over, and I have an idea for it as well because I really enjoyed working with these two held together. Now the third part of it that I am holding is this yarn here, which is from Yarn Bee, and it's authentic hand dyed. The color is called Wabi Sabi. And in this one, I also held a bit of this blue as well, which is what I had used in the first part of my fade, just to give it some sort of unity and consistency. And then I dropped it because I only used a few in this color, and I added a few rows of this and this together to give it, and this is from the Tangle Poet Society, to give it more of a similar effect as well going through. And right now where I'm at is I am using this one for my D color and holding it with this one. So you can see that I'm reusing some yarns over again, and this one was the Sleeping Beauty yarn that I started with, so I'm ending it with the edging in that nice undulated wave type border, and I'm putting it with my darkest one here. This one is from it's called Exquisite, and it's by West Yorkshire Spinners, and it's a fingering weight, and the color that they have here is called Bayswater, sorry. So those are the two that I'm using to finish off the piece. There is an I-cord bind off at the end, and I'm thinking I'll probably do my darkest color for the I-cord bind off, just to give it a dramatic final stroke of the darkest color. So again, if you are interested in joining in, we do have 2 weeks to produce something, and I just need for you to send in a snapshot of your mood board. You can email it to me along with your finished work, snapshot of your finished work as well. You don't have to send me the final work itself, just send me a picture of it. So I think that's all that I can tell you. Yeah, I'm just gonna take a measurement of my needles that I'm using. Just gotta make sure on one thing here. Yeah, I think that's right. So my needles that I'm using is a 4mm. I had to check it. I find it very hard on the Chargu needles to find where the number is on the millimeters. I have to use the gauge to find what size I'm using. So once again, here it is. Once it blocks out, it's going to show how it ripples. I keep dropping it. And how this, if I can grab an edge here and pull it out, you'll see that it's feather and fan eyelets. Yeah. I think it's going to look really nice. And the texture of it, it's going to be a wonderful feel and play with the light when that texture falls in the right kind of angle of creating and casting the shadows of those ridges. And this is the back side. Yeah, so I have 2 weeks to get this done. I'll be focusing on this one because I might add in a few more a few more rows to make use of the yarn that I have right now in this project and give it a bit more length as well. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to talk to you about is another work in progress, which I've shown before on the video or on the channel. And at the time I showed you, it was still in pieces, but now I've actually joined it all together and I'm working in the round. So once I finish the shawl that I just showed you, and we are in the home stretch of like doing all that work, then, oh, he's a bit too tall. On, let me just try and put this down. On Hank, my man form, I am working on a polo shirt. So as mentioned, I didn't have this part of the collar done and I didn't join all the pieces, but now I have the join, and this is a work that I was given the challenge to use fine yarn from Hobby, and the challenge was called #light and breezy. I have done a few projects for them back in the summer, but this one was one that I wanted to keep going and take my time because it had new techniques for me. And I think this is probably classified more as an intermediate pattern. But I wouldn't shy away from it. It does have really good instructions. And if you're looking for that next level of construction on garments, maybe you've wanted to try something different from raglan, or if you did some instep sleeves, I think that's what they call them, and you want to try a different style of picking up stitches to create your shoulder seam, then this might be the pattern for you. It's a paid for pattern and it's called Yume. It doesn't really show the whole polo shirt. And who created this? Markus Knits is the attributed name in copyright here on the bottom. I'll link the pattern down below in the description as well. So the learn for me for the last time that I picked this project up that you hadn't seen was I did some double knitting. I've never done that before. So it asks for double knitting in a section, and without giving too much away, I learned something new for this part of the garment. And now I'm just working in the round, and that's the back there. So I'll work in the round and then I'll pick up stitches and add my sleeves. It'll be a short sleeve, so I'm thinking it'll be pretty much the same length as the t-shirt underneath. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So what can I tell you about this make? Okay, again mentioned was Hobby sent me the yarn. For my grey, I am using 2 yarns held together. One is Rainbow Bamboo, which is 60% bamboo viscose and 40% cotton. That's what the label looks like. And this is I believe it's a sport weight. Do I have a gauge? The number color is 32. And I'm wondering if I can tell you, because that label was ripped, whether it has it looks like it says it's a number 2 weight, so a sport weight. And I'm holding it together with this yarn here, which is really fine. It's probably even finer than lace weight. For me, I'm using it because it gives it just a little bit more structure. It's wool, and I like the marl effect between this very neutral off-white and the grey that it gives the fabric. I really like the idea of creating something that has a bit more structure, so when you're wearing it, it's not going to start losing its shape too much like you would find maybe in a bamboo or a cotton. After a while it starts to relax and it doesn't look as fresh as what it did when it was first laundered and sort of pressed. The burgundy color is the Hobby Twister Solid, and I don't know whether I have the label for it, but that's the color there. I don't think I do. Yeah, it's the Hobby Twister Solid, and I believe the color was something like wine. It had some sort of like libations name, like wine or claret maybe. Anyway, so that is also a 2 weight. So works well. I used a number of different thicknesses in my needles. I used a smaller gauge here. I think it was a 2.75 for the collar to get a nice kind of like dense fabric. And the yarn that I'm using right now, sorry, the needles I'm using right now for the body is 3.75. Let's see if it goes into 3.5. No, it's a 3.75. Yeah. So I'm really enjoying this. It's taught me a lot. I think I might do another one in a wool so I can see what it looks like as different fabric. But I really like this. It does look like it breathes a lot and it feels very light and airy as the challenge suggested. So I'll go and put him over here. I've got like a tangle of yarn right now. Now I'm going to shift gears and talk about what's been going on here in the community. So if you're just sticking around for the yarny goodies, I hope that you have a great evening and thank you for watching up to this point. But if you want to stick around, let's catch up as friends and find out what's been going on. I'd love to hear what you've been working on too, what you've been doing in your life and your crafting life. So leave a comment down below and let me know all about it. So for us up here, we have been Christmas focused, looking at decorating. We put the tree up. Chad's purchased something from Amazon that arrived, and it's one of those projectors that you put outside and it bounces off these animated, in this case, it's snowflakes onto our house. And he had a lot of fun setting that up. It really saves on like the back breaking and, getting up on a ladder to pin up lights and all that sort of thing. This thing, you just poke in the ground and project up onto the house and you can put it on a timer and it's great. It'll store really nicely as well because the contraption is only so big, so it'll fit into a nice small box and go under the staircase when we're not using it. Yeah, the tree's up, so hopefully in next coming videos I will be able to take a little snapshot or do a feature Christmas special, something like that, throughout the month of December sometime in front of the tree so you can take a look at it or share some photos. But yeah, we've been focused on going to some craft shows which have been around our community. We went to one that was more to do with international crafts, and in there were a couple of local established artists and crafters who were fundraising for different events and different causes. So we purchased some of their wares, which was lovely to support local and having a conscious decision on like where the funds were going to be used and what they were raising funds for. So it was nice. What else can I tell you? Okay, so I know that in the United States, our friends to the south celebrated their Thanksgiving. I want to wish everyone a late Thanksgiving, and I hope that you had a nice time with your family and loved ones. My notes are telling me to not forget to talk about some recommendations on what I've been watching. That's either a series or a movie. And I really like this because it does spark up some conversation between the movies that maybe you can suggest that I can watch, or perhaps maybe you've watched these and you've, formed an opinion on whether you enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it. I'd like to hear your comments, so please leave your suggestions down below. So I have to go back to my notes so I don't miss anything. So the series that I've been watching lately that we just finished was The Morning Show. I'm not sure what season it was, but it offered up, I think, 8 episodes, and it talked about the next kind of ongoing dilemmas and dramas of a network. I think The Morning Show is all to do with a channel or a network that broadcasts different segments, and some of it's news, some of it's entertainment, some of it's kind of ground journalism. Anyway, so It talks about sort of hot spots in stories, and this one had to do with what was it, like immigration a little bit, and occasionally they use real life kind of situations that have happened throughout the course of the show, like COVID is introduced, and other things that have happened throughout the actual period that they're reporting on. So it's got an interesting blend on the types of things that they cover in the series. I really like it. I think it's a great show, and sometimes nail biter in the sense that, there's ruthlessness, there's espionage, there's all this undercurrent stuff going on behind the scenes. So that might be something that you would be interested in watching. It's all fictional, there's nothing real about it, but I do like how they play in and out of what's been going on in current affairs in our real world. Um, the other thing that I saw in a movie was I went to the theater and saw Wicked Part 2, which is called For Good. And I really enjoyed it. I had a great time at the theater. The last time I went to the theater was to see the first Wicked, which was over a year ago. And this time we had the pass that gave us popcorn, a drink, and the movie. And sitting up in those nice comfy chairs, it's such a luxury with great sound. We saw it in 3D, so we weren't sure how it was going to work with 3D, but it wasn't too nauseating. It was kind of nice, stylized, how they kind of popped out the central character. There weren't too many like flying scenes or dizzy spells like that, but just to prepare someone who might find that a little discomforting, that 3D might not be the option for you. But we did enjoy it. There's singing in it still. The type of story did shift from the lightheartedness of the first one, getting to know the characters and going to high school and all that sort of like lovely kind of fluffy stuff, falling in love and going to the first dance. So it was all kind of fun and with a little bit of undercurrent of like, bullying and all that sort of thing. But then the second one is more kind of heavy, and I don't want to give too much away, but the content is more adult, I guess. It's not so kid related, and maybe that's something to be aware of if you're thinking you want to take your family there. That perhaps maybe some content in it might be a little more for the older viewer. And with that, I think I'll catch you up in the next episode. I hope that you have a wonderful evening, or if you're watching this during the day, that you're having a great day. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.